All right, hello again, everybody. You do know you don't have to get up from bed this morning, or you didn't have to get up from bed this morning. You could have decided to just stay in, cover the blankets, and just, sleep in. But yet here you are. You didn't have to be the one who reached out to that other sister to make up. You didn't have to be the bigger person. Yet you did. You didn't have to forgive. Yeah, you could decide to hold on to the hurts. After all, they really did you. What they did you, they did the deed. But then you woke up one day and decided, you know what? I'm going to let this go. I'm going to heal. What made you do it? Performance necessity is a deep seated conviction that you have to do something, that it is you who has to get up and pick up your bed and walk, that there is something that you have to do, that there is more than this that you have to do, and that you really have to get to doing it. That's what I mean when I say performance necessity. It's a whole concept, it's a drive, an emotional drive that takes you to doing better, that makes you see your results. And while others are clapping and saying, wow, you did this, you are like, there is more to be done. I have friends who go like, there's a lot to be done. There's just a lot of work. And there are friends I have who are like, we haven't even started to scratch the surface. What is the difference? One person feels I have done enough. One person feels there is so much for me to be doing right now. I'm not even beginning to see it. The difference is the level or the different bodies of performance that they feel should be done by them. And so that's what performance necessity is. And so, several times I come here and I'm like, oh, girl, you should have a purpose. You should have something bigger that you are doing. And then there's another group of people that say, please, you guys should stop putting pressure on people. You know, if you are 30, you are doing good. All you need to be doing is what you are doing right now. And there are different schools of thought. And we are all right. You just have to choose. Do you think there is more? Let me tell you how you recognize performance necessity. Even though you feel, no, 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 I can't come and kill myself. When you look by and see another person doing something you feel you should be doing, how do you feel? If jealousy is more or less a wasted emotion, but if you feel like, I should have done this, I should have been the one doing this, I should have been, this thing has occurred to me, then you have what I call performance necessity. You have an inner seated desire, a drive to be the one who goes about doing something. Now, for people who are really going to accomplish much in life, they have this huge burden of necessity. They feel they should be the ones doing this. They feel they should be the ones putting that family together. Wherever they see a problem, they feel it has their name written on it. They feel drawn to certain things. In fact, you need to tell them, calm down, calm down, and take things side by side, the time after the other. But for this group of people, they end up achieving more. And so, one of the first things that you need to gather is a feeling that you should be the one. If there is anybody who should be doing it, it is you. And there are four factors that push this performance necessity, this drive. Yeah, that is what we call drive. When you see some people, you say, oh, they are driven people. There are some things that drive this performance necessity. And I'm going to talk about one of them today, and then we are going to have part two or part three till whenever we stop. But the one I'm going to talk about today, and my favorite, is your identity. Who do you say you are? When I'm talking about identity, I'm not talking about who people are saying. What is the conviction in your mind about who you are? I'm going to give you a cheat code about finding your identity. If you are a Christian, your cheat code: get to know God, get to understand what He says about you, and then spend enough time with God till you can figure out what exactly am I supposed to be doing here. If you get that, you wake up in the morning and there's a spring in your step, you know exactly what you are supposed to do. Okay, and when I say exactly what you're supposed to do, I'm not talking about, oh, you're supposed to be a missionary in so place. That's not what I'm talking about. But you know the line, you know what you should be doing per time. You can't know, the end from the beginning, but you know exactly what you should be doing now. And if you have good convictions about what I'm talking, if you are personally convinced about it, one of the first things you need to know about people who are really successful in what they do is that they believe that whatever it is they are doing, it succeeds because of that identity. They know that whatever they do, it succeeds. And so, even though the future is big and there is this big thing that is going to happen today, they are finding themselves as some receptionist somewhere. But in that small sphere where they have to work with at the time, T, it has to succeed. It has to succeed because you know what? They have an identity, and this identity tells them, I succeed. So if you see a king's daughter, wherever she is, she expects to be honored. And so she moves in that consciousness, and that changes everything. And so the first thing about performance necessity, I must tell you, is that you have an identity that pushes you, that wherever you find yourself, you know you have to succeed. And it doesn't matter whether you are the one who chose the task. Should I tell you something else? It doesn't even matter whether you enjoy the task. You just know that it has to turn out well. Why? I am in it. I am involved in it. Part of the reason I am unable to even push out as much videos as I should is that I make videos and I feel this is not befitting. Either my thoughts are not together, or I just find some reason to critique it. And I feel this one is not worthy of publishing. There is some burden that makes me feel that if I am in it, then you should have some level of clarity. And so that extra effort, that disturbance, that, critic you make of yourself to dish a certain level of excellence, that goes right back to your identity. Is the thing you tell yourself at night. If I'm going to just say something about identity, you can tell yourself whatever you want to tell yourself. You can try to convince yourself that you are this kind of person, but something is going to question whatever identity you tell yourself, you give yourself. You can decide to call yourself any kind of name you want to call yourself, but one day is one day. Something is going to question that identity, is going to shake that identity at its very roots. It's going to ask you, who called you? Who told you you are the one? Who told you you are all that? Who told you you are important? Who told you you are fine? Who told you you mean something? And if it hasn't gotten to that, keep living. Something is going to come and is going to query the very name you called yourself. And so let me give you a cheat code about identity. You have to tie your identity to something stronger than yourself. It cannot just be because I tell myself this. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a neat person. I'm the kind of person who, no, no, no. There has to be something stronger than you that you have to tie your identity. That way, when life pushes at you, you can float wherever you are, but that anchor is going to hold fast. That thing is going to be, you will have the opportunity of running back to a reference point, something that has been said about you, where you can say, oh, I know it doesn't look like it now, but this is what has been said about me. I'm sure you know where I'm going to with this. You have to find God. Oh. Yes, you have to know God. You have to know what God says about you. If you don't, life is going to ask you, who are you? Life is going to ask you, who the hell do you think you are? And when those questions come, you need to be able to go to something that existed before you and say, before I came, this is what had been written about me. I have some certain proof, something to show that this was about me. And that is what you can present back to life. Something you can say it was written, something you know is true, something you are sure is immutable. And so you need to find God. That is what will give you the identity, and that is what will give you the purpose. And that is it's from purpose, performance necessity will arise. And then you can start to do something in this life. Otherwise, the day you say you are A, life will come and present. Are you sure? There is B and C and D. Why don't you try all these options? Okay. And so it is important that you find God. It's important that you find your identity there. It's important that you root your identity there and that you start operating from that place. It's only when identity is sure we can start talking about performance necessity. And so in the next episode of this, we are going to talk about other things that push the burden, the conviction that you are supposed to do more, so that you are active, you are activated. It is performance necessity that wakes you up and say there is much to do. There is another video to make. Oh my God, are these videos fun? Mm-mm. No, they are not. But you need performance necessity to get anything done. Okay? See you at the next episode of Performance Necessity. Bye bye.